Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an Airbus pilot, and in today's video we are going to have a look at engine outsits and how to program your custom one. First of all, we're going to check where to get the information, and then I'll give you a little bit of real-world insight to make the route a little bit more realistic in your simulator. So join me in the cockpit of the fly-by-wire A320neo on this Lufthansa flight from Munich to Hanover. Alright, so we are currently in the process of programming our FMS. We have already entered the init page, we have entered our flight plan page, and next up we are going to program our engine out routing. Now, the fly-by-wire currently doesn't have a secondary flight plan yet, but luckily there is an easy shortcut that we can use in order to program our engine out routing anyway, which even is standard operating procedure in my airline. So let's first of all have a look into where to get the information, and then I'm going to show you how to program it a little bit more realistically. Now, what I'm going to do is I will use the website of fellow YouTuber Blackbox711, who's done an awesome job creating a database of custom engine out databases. So on his website, blackbox711.com, really recommendable, by the way, really recommendable, and I'm going to link it in the video description below. We go over to the airport info tab, and on here we just type the ICAO code of the airport that we're looking for. So for example, EDDM for Munich, and down here he brought up all the engine failure information. Also lots of useful airport information on there as well, but that is not for today's video. So we are going to focus on this one here. So we are going to depart on runway 26 right. We can see first of all the acceleration altitude over here, and then what we're looking for, the engine out standard instrument departure. And we can see that this is on a track 260 degrees to 25 miles and hold. Now, how are we going to program this? Well, real airlines have a certain naming convention for those waypoints that are basically being described like this. And this naming convention goes by taking the IATA code of the airport. So in case of Munich, that would be Mike Uniform Charlie. Then you add the letter X, so then you've got MUCX, and then you add a number. And the number is determined by the alphabetical order of the runway in question. So if we take the list we got here, then runway 8 left would get MUCX1, so MUCX1, 08 right, MUCX2, 26 left, MUCX3, and 26 right, MUCX4. Basically following from 08 being earlier in the alphabet than 26, and then L comes earlier than R, so like that, 26 right, 4th runway in question, MUC X4. Alright, now let's have a look into how we can program those waypoints, because naturally they are not going to exist in your FMS by default. However, it's very easy to create them. You go into Data, Next Page, Stored Waypoints. And in here, you can now add new waypoints to the database. You could, for example, enter whatever you like. Call it, for example, God Phoenix, if you wish. Now, what we are going to do is, as I mentioned, we're going to enter Munich X4, and we're going to enter that on the ident. Now you can see we are in the process of creating a new waypoint. And now we're going to make this a place bearing distance waypoint. Remember the look at Blackbox's website, where we said that the engine out waypoint is going to be from runway 26 right on a track of 260 degrees for 25 nautical miles. So what we're going to do now is the following. We do EDDM 26 right as our starting waypoint, slash 260 to define the bearing from that starting place, slash 25 to define the distance. Now we enter this. And now this basically gives us the place, bearing and distance for our emergency waypoint. Also note that it also gives us the latitude and longitude of the waypoint in question. In the real world, what we would normally do in order to create a waypoint like this is we would create it based on the coordinates of the point. The coordinates themselves would be provided in the electronic flight bag in the takeoff performance calculation tool, where your engine out SID is going to be included. So in the real world you would get the latitude and longitude of the waypoint, and in the simulator we can help ourselves very well using the place, bearing and distance from the waypoint. Alright, last but not least, we hit the store button, and now the waypoint is saved in our database just like any other waypoint is. In order to now visualize our engine out SID, we can go onto the flight plan page, click the LSK1 left from the from waypoint there, and then we can go onto the fix info page, and over here we are going to use 2 of the 4 pages available. On the first one we are going to enter our departure runway, so Munich 26 right, enter that over here, and the radial is going to become our runway track. So remember, we earlier on said our runway track is 260, so we enter that in the radial page up here. As you can see, if we now go into the nav mode, we have now drawn an extended centerline from our departure runway. The other thing that we're now going to do is to enter our emergency waypoint there. So use what we created earlier on, MUG X4, and put that into the fix page number 2. And now you can see we've basically created our engine out routing over here. We've got the extended centerline, and then we've got our emergency waypoint located exactly on the extended centerline. And like that, we now have our engine out SID visible without even having to use the secondary flight plan. Now in the real world, we do both. We use the secondary flight plan in order to create an immediate return and our engine out routing, and we also use the fix pages in order to constantly visualize the engine out routing regardless of whether the secondary flight plan is currently active or not. And that is how easy it is. That's how you can create your emergency routing using the fly-by-wire FMS or literally any other Airbus FMS. I do hope that you found this one interesting. At this point I would just like to thank Blackbox711 once again for providing his excellent, awesome website. Again, I'm going to link to it in the video description below, and also have a look at his Airbus videos. He is a great instructor and you will find a lot of very, very useful information on Airbuses on his channel. Personally, I also used his channel when the FS Labs A320 came out a couple of years ago, before I actually became an airline pilot, when I wanted to learn how to fly the Airbus. Now, by now, many of those videos are a little bit dated, and obviously they're made for the FS Labs A320 rather than the Phoenix or the fly-by-wire. However, A320 is A320, and most of the information he's giving can still be used and is still very accurate to this date. So again, very much recommended, blackbox711.com, and over there you can get this kind of information. With that, I would like to say thank you very much for watching. Hope that you have enjoyed today's video. If you did, do let me know in the comments below, and be sure to leave a like on YouTube as well, as it does really help out the channel. I would like to say thank you very much for watching, and with that, I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one. As always, if you love the video, first of all, be sure to make a small donation to Blackbox for his awesome database. And if you really love what I'm doing, I would of course appreciate one through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below as well. Thank you for watching, and see you all again on the next one.